All right, I'm back to react again, man. And I don't particularly like to even give viewership to things that I feel like are clown shit, right? Because that's the type of energy I try to put forth. Excuse me. That's the energy I try to put forth when presented with clown shit. And I'm not gonna say it's always that way. It's never that. Y'all have heard me on here numerous times speaking advocacy for hypocrisy. I'm gonna have to clarify a lot of the things I speak on or I joke on more because if we never get stand up and serious about anything, are we ever really joking? If all we doing is joking, if we don't ever get serious, are we joking for real? I just did an episode about the streets, and well, before I even get into that, right? Just to clarify the hypocrisy thing before I jump into what I'm about to jump into. I say being hypocritical is okay, but there needs to be some clauses in that. Being hypocritical is okay in the sense of evolution. If you feel one way at some point and you discover growth to where it makes you feel differently about how you once felt in your evolution, that's when hypocrisy means something, when it stands for something. If you just contradicting yourself all the time about a bunch of remedial shit and being a finicky, wishy-washy, I stand on one principle this minute, the polar opposite principle the next minute, I'm a oxymoronic, because I don't want to say words of, I don't want to start this with no insulting presence, but I just spoke on street shit, and in this bloggership journey that I'm on, I'm discovering it's a world out here. There are a lot of people with very huge platforms who are influential, and I think that we spend so much time inside these idiot boxes that we don't realize that we are directly influencing each other, and some of us build a sizable amount of cult-like following, and they affecting people's brains out here in the real world. So I joke a lot, and I'm about the humor, but I also feel as if we need not to poison the listener or the watcher with our messages. That's what we shouldn't do, because let's be honest, I have kids. I understand that we can attempt to parent down to every crevice of a child's life, but we know there's some things that are gonna slip through the cracks and infiltrate that child's thinking. Especially like if you're a child of hip hop, you know that. You understand that a lot of those things that we inherited through hip hop music was toxic, poisonous. And I'm not sitting here to vilify rap, because I love rap and I believe there's toxicity in everything. And there's nothing wrong with a little bit of that. But when it comes down to the point of poisoning our kids' brains a little bit, there's something wrong with it. And it was a lot wrong with a lot of that shit we inherited back then. But, man, there's levels. You can't have positive without negative. So that's respectable. But just this YouTube world has blurred the line of adulthood and kid and the lifespan of a child. When we were young, we were exposed to a lot of things our parents did and a lot of real shit. Especially if you around my age range, if you grew up in the crack era, you saw a lot. But at the same token, in the same breath, our parents still, well, I can't speak for every person in this, I can't speak to every person in the diaspora of that generation being raised. This generation, the economical crack boom all over the world. You know what I'm saying? I can't speak for everybody in that situation, but I feel like our parents tried to push us to not go in that direction. Even if you had people that was smoking, you know, I had smokers tell me this ain't what you want to do. So, you know, despite how it affects you and the person it creates, that's neither here nor there in the moment. But we know how influential a lot of these things could be. And when I was in the street episode, I forgot to mention about how influential the music is to us. I was growing up hearing bitches ain't shit but hoes and tricks. And I was also hearing only God can judge me. And, you know, but a lot of those men in that generation gave me the words that I felt like were relatable to myself to apply to my life. So I used to always argue against that, but I can't realistically sit here and say that a lot of things I encountered in the hood, I wasn't influenced by the music to some degree. So I say that in turn to say that our kids are very much so affected by this, and they don't have that wall of adulthood and childhood like maybe the 80s babies did with the 60s kids. Like there was a there was a clear separation. Yo, the kids is over here, we over here doing our thing. YouTube has disintegrated that line. So all these people out here predicating a message on we for the kids, and they out here talking, you know, in the, like, I don't know how to say this, but street bloggerhood has become a thing. And the very first thing I said in the last episode of Rants was the streets and the internet shouldn't connect. Now, we understand that they have. We've seen robbery. We've seen street shit happen on the internet at this point. But when you got a blogger that want to live in both bodies and epitomize a street nigga and a blogger at the same time, like, okay, look, Hassan Campbell is somebody who I discovered maybe a few weeks ago, a few months ago, maybe, I don't know. Time moves rather fast. And the first time I seen him, he was pretty colorful in how he worded things when speaking on some of these subjects that he was speaking on, such as death in the hood, little kids being murdered, and you know he builds his following on the content of the things that happen in the street. Now, when I first seen it, I was it's a little whatever, but I'm not here to police people's dialogue. I'm not here to police people's penmanship or any of that. I've learned to build distance from things that I don't particularly align with. But I respected that he appeared to be a person who was preaching to the betterment of kids in the ghetto through the horrific stories that some of us have lived in that time. So I was like, you know what? I ain't going too much police his words. I respect what he's trying to do. I went about my business. I see him in passing because anytime some rap shit come up, I see his name in some of the videos that I watch. In the wormhole of some of the videos I watch, I see his name there. And I'll click on some of them. I don't really have time for it. But like I said, it's a bit colorful. Now, I follow Kwame Brown off and on because like following your YouTube niggas is a lot. You go on here 2-3 times a day for 3-4 hours at a time. Just a lot of talking, man. Sometimes you gotta pull away from that. But I respect what the brother Kwame's doing because he rose to fame not even through being a number one draft pick playing next to Michael Jordan. He rose to fame through some negative shit. And the All the Smoke podcast talking, you know the history. You can go back and watch some of my weekend wrap-ups to see the history. I'm not here to give you a whole history. But just him coming out, and I don't necessarily agree with everything he say. I don't know if I do or don't, but I do know if I do or don't. But I don't agree with everything he say, but I respect what he's trying to do. And I don't agree with anything anybody says. None of us should ever do that because that's not realistic. But you could also agree and disagree and find a compromise into making the puzzle fit together, man. So I just respect what a lot of these YouTube personalities are doing. Shout out to Miss 504. It's another guy saying Gravity or something. I'm getting into this whole new headspace of YouTube vlogger and all of this stuff. And there's some people out here with some pretty dope messaging. And if the minds like that could link together and we build these followings throughout these various cities on these big platforms, the things that we could do would be incredible for our community. Because that's all Black Wall Street was, or any of that, any of those movements. Each one teach one, we build. So I'm not mad at somebody being colorful and even you being vulgar to display a message to bring the people in. Because everybody in the street don't want to hear derogatory, formaldehyde, bowdabide. Everybody don't want to hear built up words. Some people want to hear somebody come on and say, look, you motherfuckers real niggas. So I'm not mad at that. But when you reduce people to cable television and, you know, this dude, he say a bunch of wild shit. So it wasn't really my cup of tea. But now I'm seeing Styles P and just all of this. So I started looking into the guy, like, and I just started seeing a lot of just disgusting shit. He talking about street shit. He's snitching. He talking about molesting kids, and because he from that jail, like, I'm tough. So you got, it's the same thing that I was talking about. On the last episode, it's the buffoon bozo mentality versus the to hide under the guise of alpha male and street nigga and all of this, and you out here trying to help kids at the same time. You can't. I'm gonna just go into some of the shit he say, man, and I'm gonna react. I don't even know what I'm gonna react to, honestly, because like I don't even, usually I guess you should have these things queued up about what you're gonna react to, but he just say shit out. Look at this nigga, man. Okay, this video. Hassan Campbell, G-Check's Dipset rapper.
Under a pale moonlight.
No.
Huh? That niggas wanna be killed. Get at me, blood. Let me talk to you. You may have these young homies out here fooled, but you ain't got me fooled. You the most.
No, see, I can't even do it. I can't even do it. You on the internet G-checking niggas. Like, no, if you gon' look, I can't do a reaction video. Not right now. Not to this. I don't want to give it no views. Look, man. This is what I be talking about. Look, this shit got my whole... This shit got my whole vibe thrown off, man. This shit just, that 5 seconds of it, just bad aura in here, man. Yeah, man. When you use the streets as a selling point, because I'm not here to judge nobody. I love street music. That's my best form of music. But when you are here quoting movies and selling the imagery of, you know, everybody wanted to be the paid in full, the American gangster, the you know, the imagery of I'm out here winning, I'm large and in charge. Pause, I don't know if that's applicable. Large and in charge and shined up. I've been through it. I'm war tested. I'm a barbarian out here. And it's like, yo, man, you think the kids want? You think the kids are gonna listen to you to become more positive? That is buffoonery to the next level, sir. And I don't know you personally because this is the thing, right? I saw him with Kwame Brown, and Kwame Brown contested him as a man. Yo, this is why I don't agree with. This is why I don't agree with how you carry yourself, because he one of them. I don't even want to use the term effeminate, because I'm comfortable in my effeminate traits enough to understand that they are there. It's about being self-aware. This show that I'm on all the time is about being aware of who you are so that you can make the changes possible to evolve in a sense of being better than you were yesterday. So you got this gentleman out here preaching bravado and I check you and I de-check you, and he telling them, yo, my nigga, you shouldn't have to keep on popping off and going crazy to even put yourself in the position to have to apologize because you don't know how to keep your composure at bay and have a conversation with a man without being rah-rah and I want to do something to you and take you off this earth. And how are you preaching for kids to stop killing kids, or for somebody else's preaching for people to raise their children to not kill your kids, and you raise yours to do the same, and then in the same breath you tell another man to look like you, well, let's fight. I rock a nigga snap back. Like, what's that barbaric Neanderthal culture shit? And I'm not mad at my man building this platform and providing a way to provide for his, or creating a way to provide for his family. But when you got to do it and be a Sambo and go against the same people that you're supposed to be trying to build with, you can't pop shit off and talk to a nigga crazy and then say, I apologize, let's build. No, it's okay for a man to not want to deal with that energy, but nobody got to accept that apology, bro. And I'm not even on here in defense of Kwame. I'm really just, man, we know right and wrong. Our mothers tell us this shit because most of us come up, especially in, not many of us was blessed to have the assurance of a father behind us to let us know that you ain't gotta always succumb to the bullshit to feel better about yourself or represent your integrity with pride. So a lot of the times we gotta make ourselves feel better by the demoralization of another man that looks like you because you really on some self-hate shit, and to really, you think that in your mind to truthfully love yourself, you gotta beat yourself down first. I don't know this gentleman, man. I don't know this guy to the point where I can sit here and talk about him bad, and I ain't here to do all that. But I do know buffoonery when I see it. You can't walk around preaching all this Illuminati shit, and black folk, we need to stop doing that. Whenever we see one of us get in a position to have a little bit of power out here, and I don't know how much power you could truly have in the system, no matter how much money you got, because they'll show your ass quickly that they'll change all of this shit up on you in a minute. So you think it ain't no discrimination on those upper echelons of people? You think those black people got up there and got all that money and just escaped the niggatry? Come on, man. You can't take the stance of always fixing your lips to have something negative to say about our own kind and then say you for the people. Don't work that way. Especially when you go into a realm of talking about rocking nigga snot boxes and all of this street shit that got you in prison in the first place. That's one of the craziest things I saw when I was locked up in the county. Niggas wanted to watch court shows and niggas wanted to watch cops and highway patrol and all of that goofy shit. All of that goofy shit. Why would you want to watch this? Why would you want to? The last time you saw outside, you was on the side of a police car, sir. Why would you want to watch cops in here? Cops ain't teaching you much. What did you want to just keep being reminded of the last day you was out? So why would you come out here and preach against all of this for our children just to turn around and give them the same information that got you there in the first place? That's counterproductive, man. We got to do better because these are the people that we're feeding tens of thousands of views to. And I ain't saying to not that man hustle or not view his content, but understand when keeping it real goes right and when keeping it real goes wrong. And that's when keeping it real goes wrong, bullshit. Sorry if I'm a little tongue-tied, man. It's been a long day. On that note, because I know somebody gonna look at this and say, oh, he's clout chasey, and nah, he only has this many followers or this many viewers, and nah, Ain't about that, man. Sometimes it's just about having the integrity about shit. Don't do it for the likes. Like what you do. That's what I represent. And if you come here and get new, go back and get reacquainted. Because this ain't about no goofy shit like that. You're going to be out here delivering a message and pulpitting and soapboxing and shit. Don't do it on the same destructive behavior that got us fucked up in the first place. The same indoctrinated bullshit that all those quote-unquote organizations and entities placed on our communities and institutions. Why would you deliver the same thing if you now have an understanding of that being wrong and counterproductive? Can't do both. Can't be a blogger and a banger. Make up your motherfucking mind. Don't do it for the likes. Like what you do. Uncle Vic out.
Why?